Hey everybody, this is Jessie Darland with the Kitsap Sun at Pheasant Field Farms, and this is the Fall Harvest Edition of the Beet Blast.
Oh, hey, Jessie.
Oh, hey Josh, what are you doing with all those pumpkins?
Well, aren't they gorgeous?
You already put 10 pumpkins in my car.
Oh, well, we're giving them pumpkin to talk about.
Welcome back to this edition of the Beet Blast, sponsored by the Admiral Theater. It's fall mushroom season, which means people are out in the forest with baskets foraging for edible fungi. The Kitsap Peninsula Mycological Society is hosting a wild mushroom show at Olympic College on the 20th. I went on an excursion with them last weekend to Tahuya State Forest to see what the club does and how to find chanterelles.
We're out here today with a couple club members scouting an area and looking at habitat. We're in an area near where we expect they're going to do some logging in the next couple years. These are all choice edible chanterelles. That's a staple this time of year. Has to be growing in soil, not growing on wood. So if you look at this one, it is solid completely all the way through. And if you compare it to this one has true gills that look like little pieces of paper. This one has ridges. Fourthly, there's lots, this has a very clear distinction between the gills on the cap and the stalk, and these have the false gills running down the stalk. Great hobby. Hope we can help more people enjoy it.
Speaking of pumpkins, a giant pumpkin grown on Bainbridge Island may just be the largest pumpkin ever grown in Kitsap County. A pumpkin grown over the last few months by Islander Daniel Gollin is estimated to weigh around 1,329 pounds. Sun reporter Nathan Pilling has the story.
I run power out here, so I have heating coils under the ground in a greenhouse, which is not here. So it'll stay in there until the beginning of June, middle of June, until it outgrows that. And then the pumpkin just sort of takes off at that point. As the vines grow out, basically I'm burying the vines as they're growing, and that creates a kind of new root structure throughout. And kind of pruning off the other flowers and unrelated pumpkins. So I don't know. I think anybody who's a gardener, this is maybe something you're always thinking about doing at some point. It's just a matter of, I don't know, maybe convincing your wife to let you rototill your front lawn to do it. So otherwise, yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit of work every day, but it's not too bad.
Last week you may have noticed police cars from all over Washington and a few from Portland. Almost 100 police dogs and their handlers were here for the Washington Police Canine Association's fall training, so I tagged along one day to watch the pups in action.
Currently we're on the USS Kitty Hawk. We were granted access by our partners in the US Navy, and the dogs have really enjoyed a lot of different exposure they would have never gotten, whether it be soft floors or ladders in a ship. The dogs have really gotten a ton of great training. It's been a really success so far. We use three different disciplines mainly in law enforcement. We have explosives detection, a narcotics detection, and then we have a generalist patrol canine. Obviously the narcotics and explosives are going to detect that odor, and they'll give an indication, usually a sit or a down. That'll indicate that they've smelled the presence of explosives or narcotics. The general patrol dogs, we do everything from finding evidence, anything with human scent on it. So if you have an article of clothing that you throw, or let's say a firearm that you throw into the bushes, our dogs are trained to locate items with human scent, so they'll go and retrieve and locate pieces of evidence. Something that we're best known for is locating fleeing violent offenders. So individuals that commit violent crimes and then they do escape on foot. The skin rafts that are coming off your body, our dogs are trained to track human scent and locate that individual. So that's one of their main jobs.
Wine fans, the annual grape harvest has wrapped up at Bainbridge Vineyards. Grapes harvested from the 8-acre certified organic vineyard on Day Road are eventually turned into the vineyard's own wines. Here's a look inside that process with the Sun's Nathan Pilling.
Just decided we can do a really great rosé with these grapes. They look great, they're fantastic. It was easy picking, and we'll crush them tonight, and by next week they'll be fermenting into a rosé of Pinot Noir. A lot of people think they know about picking and they know about pruning in the wintertime, but there's this huge amount of time and effort that happens from bud break, which is usually the end of April here, till when we harvest, which is either going to be September or October. And that's what we call vine tending. And during that time, we go through the fields every single week and are doing something on the grapes. Wine is not just a manufactured process. It comes from the soil and the climate and the tending of each vineyard. So because our vineyards are all right here where we make our wine, we feel our wines really truly represent both Bainbridge Island, Kitsap County, and the Puget Sound region. So we're pretty proud of it.
What's on tap for your weekend? Sponsored by Silver City Brewery Tap Room. Bainbridge Gardens Pumpkin Walk returns this Friday and Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Along a trail at the Miller Road Nursery, kids and their parents can behold nearly 300 lighted carved pumpkins. The event is free. That's our show for this week. Thanks to our sponsors and special thanks to those who subscribe to the Kitsap Sun. We couldn't do this without you. See you next time.